My name is Schumacher Sal, and this is the world's fastest 1/10 scale Nitro truck. It's so fast that I have to wear very aerodynamic looking glasses. Nitro World Order.
Nitro World Order.
Now, before we do a full in-depth review, overview, and a fire-up of this vintage 2003 Schumacher, let me just give you a couple interesting stats and facts to think about. This truck can hit 40 in 1.9 seconds, and it will top out at 70 plus miles per hour. It's got a special secret weapon. In fact, it has a couple secret weapons. These trucks are highly sought after, and this one, it's got its own share of problems. But I'll tell you something, I'm still going to fire up this vintage Thunder Tiger 21 size motor. Now, before we really take the body off, I figured why not, well, have a little evidence about the claims that I made, calling it the world's fastest 1/10 scale truck. This is a 2007 issue of Radio Control Car Action magazine. The era when there were nitros on the cover and you didn't have to claim to like crawlers on YouTube to try to become rich and famous. Guess what, guys? I will never claim to like crawlers. Let's open up the page. I have found the original ad to this Schumacher Menace 21. It says the world's fastest 1/10 scale truck. Now, there were two models available when they were brand new. One was the almost ready to run, and it was $429. There was also the ready to run model for $499. Not too crazy price wise, if you ask me. This is the era when the Savage 25 was out, and they were like in the mid 400 range. So technically, this was much faster. It was a Schumacher. It had a sickening Ford F-150 looking body. Unfortunately, the one I have does not have the stickers. But the flames are beautiful, my dude. Let's take the body off, and I'll show you guys the special secret weapons. This has something that trucks at this time period, they weren't really accustomed to. We got ourselves a 3-speed baby transmission. Now, this model came out around 2003. During that time period, the Kyosho Man-Force was also getting released. And yes, that also had a 3-speed transmission. It was a big block chassis as well, but that was a 1/8 scale. It was not meant to be very fast. This one was meant, well, it was meant to satisfy the speed freaks. You guys know what I'm saying? Today, people are building Bajas. They're putting 2 speeds. They're putting 3 speeds. Guess what? Schumacher was putting 3 speeds and .21 big block engines in the early 2000s, guys. Now, this one has a couple quirks. Some of the quirks are air filter. Don't use this air filter, since I'm not planning on running this in the dirt or sand really anytime soon. This is going to be kept in good condition. As we can tell, we have original tires. Schumacher is one of those brands where it's like kind of like those Tinder chicks, you know what I mean? You're not sure whether the rest of their body is good looking based on that one picture with those sickening angles they take, all right? Now, I can't really be talking about that anymore because I'm a person that is off the market. Don't forget that, my dudes, I'm off the market, but it doesn't mean I'm off the market when it comes to tires. We got no foam on the inside. This is just like one of those Tinder chicks that takes a picture with like a filter, then she looks completely different in real life, you know? Then she gets a reality TV show about it on TLC and then gets famous, but she's actually a moron. This one has an issue here with the upper deck. Everything you see here is basically stock other than the fuel tank. Now, these fuel tanks are almost impossible to get. I think this one is from a Team Associated model, maybe an RC10 GT from the looks of it. The fuel tank is good. We do have the original motor. This is the Thunder Tiger Pro 21R power plant. Now looking at the pipe, you're probably asking yourself, why is the pipe diameter so small? Well, they couldn't fit a larger one, is my understanding. This model has what they call the E-start system. So it's basically a drill start. And in a little bit, when I try to fire it up, you guys will see that a basic drill will fire this thing up. The bottom of the chassis, unfortunately, does not have access to a starter box, which is very weird because you can clearly see they want you to see the 3-speed sticking out from the bottom, but they don't want you to access the flywheel with the starter box. It's just so weird. Another quirk about this chassis, we have torque screws almost everywhere other than the engine. Just a lot of quirks on this chassis. There's also a side carbon protector plate here from the factory installed to protect and mount the fuel tank itself. Now, you probably are wondering, is this a shaft drive? Is it a belt drive? How does it put the power to the ground, right? Well, this particular chassis, as most Schumachers from this time period, are belt drive. It looks like someone has created their own homemade belt liner here, but if I actually lifted this metal thing, there's supposed to be a plastic cover here, you would see a belt running the entire length of the chassis. Schumacher, it was a race brand, and it had this kind of identity about, well, we gotta be fast and we don't want to use slipper clutches. That's why there are no slipper clutches anywhere on this transmission. The logic was the belt would absorb some of that drivetrain shock when you were accelerating. Has it worked? Well, I've never really seen a lot of these stripped, and I've never really seen, well, the belts ripped. So I guess it has worked. The belts here are thicker than what you would expect on an RS4 chassis or something of that nature. This chassis in particular has one major flaw in the front. It looks like somebody has had a first date with the curb without even getting it flowers after. If you take a look at these outdrive cups, they are different sizes. My understanding is this is the original diff outdrive cup. Oh, look at that. It even wobbles directly in the housing itself. It looks like it's missing a bearing on the other side. And somebody has also drilled and created their own mounting holes for the shock tower. This is just some kind of magic. I had to remove the axles in the front suspension because basically my dog bone was popping out. It was undrivable. So at this point, any further demonstration of this chassis, you will obviously observe that we are rear wheel drive only. Other than that, the chassis is quite straightforward. If you like, oh, where's my throttle return spring? It looks like we're missing a throttle return spring. I know Schumacher has this whole thing where they have a throttle return spring going all the way the entire length of the chassis. Every other single Schumacher I've seen, throttle return spring is like somehow like this. It's enormous. It's basically the entire chassis. Radio wise, I am using the FlySky system. Electronics seem to work. Throttle servo is fine. Let's prime it and see whether we can fire it up. In terms of starting it, I am using a basic hex from a regular drill bit socket set. It seems I have lost the original E-start system. Let's prime. Let's see how easy this will be. No problem. You see that fire up, guys? Schumacher running, rich and loud. Look at that oil from the pipe, guys. I like it. You check the linkages here. All right. The carb is a little on the high side. I'm gonna have to lower the idle a little bit. Motor sounds healthy. Sounds healthy to me. I shut it down here. Let me lower the idle a little bit. I'm accessing the idle set screw. Let's fire it up again and observe. Trial and error tuning type of thing here. Yeah, this motor responds. Big difference. The idle has settled down. I like it. motor's running cool. Look at that. One-way bearing. It's trying to spin it. Sickening. But I can hold it with my finger. Yeah, so far. Look at that oil coming out the pipe. Oh, got some in my eye, got some in my eye. Beautiful. Oh, that was a 2-speed, I heard it. I heard it. 3-speed, baby. That was scary. You know what? We're going to richen this a little. The 3-speed engages way too fast. Gotta richen it up, all right. Very fast engagement. Baby. What do you think about that? You cannot kill it. Look at that idle. Guys, you can't even kill the idle or the 3-speed. Let me shut it down. We will talk about it. Shut it down. Now that was definitely an engaging 3-speed. Schumacher Sal is back. Let me summarize what we just witnessed. We witnessed the ultimate 3-speed kick-in each and every single time. Now this is just a history overview and test of the 3-speed video. I'm not going to be taking this on a road test just yet. The reason is, guys, well, this thing has 14mm wheels. And since I am not in the Arma gang, I don't actually have any 14mm hub wheels at this point. I will try to place an order, and then we will not have to kill these original Schumacher wheels as you see here. If you appreciate the kind of stuff I do here on this channel, please consider becoming a channel member and help me make more Nitros great again. See you guys next time. If you smell what the Nitro gang is cooking.
So fine, but her breath is like, she say she wanna dance, but she don't know how to.